In Death Valley, a man enters a secure facility. This is a restricted area, but after a polite request, the guards decide to kill each other rather than stop the intruder. This is the Catacombs, the most secret prison in the world, built to harbor the most dangerous of criminals. With only a handful of inmates, this place, and these people, were imprisoned at a terrible cost. Until now. They are free, and at the call of the rescuer, they go off into the heart of darkness. Squad leader Rick Flag is upset to learn that Task Force X has been deployed into Badanesia without his knowledge or involvement. Amanada Waller says this mission was short notice and she had to make an executive decision. Rick is also outraged to see that Killer Frost is out on the field, as she is new to the team and largely untested. Amanda insists that Frost is a survivor and her powers are well suited for this mission. A death cult has stolen a Quake pulsar from Star Labs, and they are planning to use it to destroy the small island nation. They are led by a man named Apex. The squad fights their way through the death cult, but this villain is able to use the pulsar to knock the entire team down. Apex says he hopes his team enjoyed fighting his men, for this is the last thing they will ever do. They're called Task Force X, a government-sanctioned team that gives time off on criminal sentences in exchange for their participation in dangerous missions. This gives the government the benefit of plausible deniability, while the squad is forced to take on tremendous risk. Hence the group's nickname, the Suicide Squad. Batman only recently discovered this team's existence after Amanada Waller tricked him and broke into the Batcave. The Justice League agrees that Task Force X and the idea behind it is fundamentally wrong. They know they must act, and Cyborg, using Batman's new information, is able to pinpoint a new lead in the small island nation of Badanesia. There, Apex unleashes the full power of the pulsar, knocking the Enchantress out before Deadshot is able to snipe the villain dead. However, the damage from Apex's attacks causes the building Deadshot was shooting from to collapse, and with the group's sorcerer out of commission, Deadshot takes one last look at a picture of his daughter before accepting his fate and falling to his death. However, Superman flies in and saves the villain. The Justice League is able to secure the falling building and save many civilians before they corner the Suicide Squad. Superman returns Deadshot's picture, which he dropped. Lawton is thankful and tries to take his leave, but Batman announces that Task Force X is done. They ask that the Suicide Squad turn themselves over peacefully, or things are about to get very violent. The task force tries to explain, but Batman says they know what's going on here, and he points out that if it weren't for the Justice League, a lot of people would have died today. The villains feel this is unfair, they're not the ones that caused the earthquake, but both sides are well aware that the two teams are a little one-sided in terms of power right now, and when push comes to shove, the Suicide Squad is kinda screwed. Wonder Woman promises they will protect the team from Amanada Waller, but Deadshot knows that's not an option. There's a bomb in their brains. Waller contacts him and says he knows what he has to do, but the assassin insists that he wants to hear Waller say it. So she gives the command. Do not let the Justice League take you alive, or you're dead. With that, the battle begins. Batman warns Deadshot this will not end well for them, and the villain replies that they are actually the one with the advantage here. Every day on the Suicide Squad, you have to assume the odds are against you. The Justice League doesn't kill anyone. But they do. Humanity is broken, and the people with the power to fix things don't know how. The world has changed. Something has happened. And they're going to take advantage of this. They're going to make things better. Their names are Dr. Polaris, Emerald Empress, Johnny Sorrow, Rustam, and Lobo. Maxwell Lord will help them kill Amanada Waller, and in exchange, They're gonna help him save the world. With Colonel Flag 10 minutes out, Amanda Waller orders the Suicide Squad to fight the Justice League with all they have. Killer Frost can't believe what she's hearing, and assumes this is some kind of joke. But Amanda Waller informs the villain that Task Force X cannot be captured. If they are, before Rick Flag can extract them, well, we all know what happens then. With no other choice, Deadshot orders the squad to split up, as it is their only chance of taking down the Justice League. Meanwhile, Maxwell Lord explains to his new companions that something has happened to this dimension. Johnny Sorrow and the Emerald Eye can confirm this. Time is missing from this universe, and the Eye must find the Legionnaire. Maxwell promises he can help all of them, starting with getting revenge against Amanda Waller. But first they're gonna have to help him with a little errand. The others are suspicious of the man, who they know has mental powers and could control them, but he explains he doesn't need to use his abilities against any of them. They are bound together by rage and a desire for revenge. And as for the Justice League, well, right now they have their hands full. Superman talks to June and promises to help her, but the Enchantress emerges and strikes him down. So the Earth's mightiest hero has a weakness after all. Magic. Meanwhile, Cyborg also tries to talk Killer Frost down, but she is able to use her powers and drain his human side, forcing his cybernetic implants to keep him alive, while the villain is able to make her escape. Elsewhere, El Diablo engulfs the Green Lanterns in fire, until they are able to surround him in a barrier, suffocating his flames and preventing his escape. Captain Boomerang and the Flash go way back. There's no point in trying to outrun the speedster, but Boomerang knows the trick with him. You just have to make him go after someone else. The Flash rescues some civilians, and the Boomerang uses this opportunity to attack. On second thought, the Flash looks a little upset. How about Boomerang just tells him what he needs to know and they can skip the interrogation? Underwater, Killer Croc attacks the shark, filling the area with blood and blinding Aquaman. Suddenly, Croc strikes, only for his teeth to shatter against Arthur's rock-hard skin. Nearby, Deadshot and Batman are locked in close combat. Batman swears he won't let Lawton endanger his own daughter any further, which Deadshot finds amusing. At least the assassin doesn't let kids fight for him. It doesn't matter what kind of armor Batman is wearing, no bulletproof vest is that good. In pain, Batman says the agony is worth it, if he can keep Lawton's daughter safe. In the streets of Badnesia, Harley Quinn flees on a stolen motorcycle. Wonder Woman flies in after her, annoyed. Quinn lets loose with a barrage of bullets, which the hero easily deflects. Harley Quinn is shocked, as she could have sworn last time they saw each other they were friends, but Diana replies that she does not befriend dangerous criminals. That hurts Harley's feelings, and with a quick maneuver, she drives the bike straight into Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman, completely unharmed, now has Harley in custody. The Justice League is able to reunite and has rounded up most of the squad members. El Diablo, Deadshot, and Harley are secure, Killer Croc is knocked out, and Captain Boomerang just told the Flash everything. Amanda Waller is talking to all the squad members on comms and has forced the villains into this fight. Waller, exacerbated, says she warned the squad and will not be betrayed, but Killer Frost begs Amanda not to activate the bombs and says there has to be something they can do. Suddenly, Enchantress slams Superman into the ground right beside Caitlin Snow. Amanda realizes this is their last chance for victory. Killer Frost can absorb life energy, and Superman is vulnerable. Though Snow is reluctant, Waller pushes her and Frost makes contact. Wow. She didn't know she could do that. In the dark, Batman wakes up, his body completely encased. The Dark Knight's mind might be his most dangerous weapon, but it's useless if he doesn't have access to his body. This is a cell specially made just for him, just like the rest of Batman's friends. After all, he isn't the only one who plans for everything. Amanda Waller welcomes the Justice League to the Suicide Squad. In the catacombs, Rick, Flag, and Katana make their way through the now destroyed prison. They are worried. They've never even heard of this place, and there's blood in the air. But Katana realizes they are safe here. They're the only ones still alive. Whatever this place was, it is strange. It is a prison, yet it contains only a few cells. And whoever was here went out of their way to kill every single person on duty. Unsure of exactly what happened here, the two retrieve the prison's security black box and leave. No doubt Amanda has her hands full with her new guests, and could use some help. As Batman is led to the infirmary, he says these restraints can't hold him. The guards scoff at this. This isn't Arkham. They know how to keep their inmates secure. But they're wrong. Batman frees himself and finds Amanda Waller, saying she's going to have to answer for this. Yet Amanda is calm in front of the Dark Knight. Really, she expected him to break free at least an hour ago. So Batman calms down too. The Justice League has not been injected with bombs into their heads, as Amanda is attempting to extend an olive branch of sorts between them and the Suicide Squad. They're the ones that started all this, after all. Batman realizes she wouldn't have taken the huge risk of capturing the Justice League unless she was in real trouble, and decides to hear her out. Elsewhere, the Suicide Squad looks over the captured Justice League, amused that they actually won this fight. The League and Squad trade verbal barbs to varying degrees of success, but Superman isn't mocking or rude. Instead, he asks why Killer Frost hesitated before she drained him of his powers. Caitlin explains that she remembers the first time she saw Superman. It was long before she got her own powers. She was just a scientist in Metropolis, there for a conference, and Superman flew by. He wasn't fighting anyone, just passing over, and she realized when she saw him, if a man could fly, she could do great things too. That moment helped her get through her PhD program, and she has never forgotten it. Caitlin didn't know that Superman would survive her draining his powers, but she is glad he did. If he comes after her next time they fight, she'll understand why. Superman instead says that when he first exposed himself to the world, there was a lot of people who tried to use his powers, like how Amanda is using Caitlin. But after he proved himself, the world accepted him. Superman thinks Caitlin can be more than a pawn of Waller, too. Deadshot brushes these words off. The world doesn't know or care about any of them. Amanda Waller doesn't care about them. They are here as long as they survive and until they are replaced, and it's only a matter of time before someone bigger and badder comes along. In an island in the South Pacific, Maxwell Lord and his friends have arrived. They've slaughtered a tribe here and worked their way to their head shaman. The mystic begs Maxwell not to do this. The world is corrupt enough already, and though Max might be able to control a pack of wild dogs, he has no chance of controlling him. But Maxwell won't listen. They both know it's only a matter of time before he gets free anyways, and it will be best for everyone if he comes back under someone's control. Besides, nobody refuses Maxwell Lord. With that errand out of the way, Lobo gets impatient and demands they go after Waller now. Maxwell agrees that the time for waiting is over, and they head out to get their revenge. Back in Belle Reve Penitentiary, Killer Frost argues that the Justice League doesn't deserve to be here. Unlike the Squad, the heroes never did anything wrong to begin with. Unlike Task Force X, they don't deserve to be here. Batman and Waller arrive, and the Dark Knight says he agrees. He makes it clear he also thinks that Task Force X is capable of redeeming themselves. Amanda orders that the Justice League be freed, and they are. Batman has his team stay calm. There's something they all need to see. The heroes accept this, much to the shock of the Suicide Squad, but they are heroes first, willing to put their squabble aside. The two teams are led to the prison control room. Amanda informs them of the breakout at the catacombs and briefs the teams on the escaped prisoners. Emerald Empress, wielder of the Emerald Eye of Ekron, capable of producing immense mystical energy. Rustam, assassin, who has a flaming scimitar that can cut through anything, and is one of the deadliest swordsmen on Earth. Dr. Polaris, a former Argus scientist who gave himself power over electromagnetic waves at the cost of his own sanity. Johnny Sorrow, former actor who was trapped in an alternate dimension. He exchanged his physical body to return to the world as an emissary for a god called the King of Tears. One look at the face behind his mask would be fatal to anyone, even if they saw it through a computer screen. And then there's the main man, Lobo, bounty hunter from an alien world called Zarnia. He claims to have killed everyone else from there. He's strong, fast, and can heal from any injury. These are dangerous killing machines, all of whom are a real threat on their own to this planet. Together, they are unstoppable. But somebody's pulling the strings, manipulating them. His name is Maxwell Lord. Superman knows him, and knows instantly that he's the real danger here. The one they really need to worry about. Max's past is a mystery, even to Amanada Waller. She knows he used to be a director of Checkmate before he went rogue. He has telepathic abilities, and should not be underestimated. Harley asks what Max wants, and Waller says that he's coming after her, and she wants the Justice League and Suicide Squad to protect her. The Squad finds that hilarious, but the Justice League just looks at one another. Batman points out that it isn't just her that's a target. Amanda believes that Max is coming here to obtain some sort of weapon stored in Bel Rev, with one specific goal in mind: absolute control over the world. And even without Max, the escaped prisoners know how to work as a team, and are more than capable of breaking into here. Amanda knows that because she made them. They were the first Suicide Squad. In Bel Rev Penitentiary, Maxwell Lord and the first Suicide Squad attack. Standing before the Justice League and Task Force X, Max is flattered they would team up for him. But it's no matter. Max may not be able to control the Enchantress, but the woman she possesses, June Moon, is easily manipulated. As the sorcerer cries out in pain, the Green Lanterns move to protect her. Suddenly, the rings detect unknown lantern technology. It's coming from the Emerald Eye. Simon is knocked through the prison, and all hell breaks loose. Johnny Sorrow opens a portal, and the prison is flooded with demonic entities. As the two teams struggle with the new arrivals, Rustam works his way past prison security to the main command center of Bel Rev. There, he encounters Katana, and the two begin a fierce duel. Meanwhile, Max makes his way to the prison's vault, and Killer Frost tries to stop him. However, she is unable to resist his telepathic abilities, and together, the two make their way deeper into the facility. Elsewhere, Lobo chases Amanada Waller and Deadshot to a bridge. Though she tries to warn him that Max is clearly manipulating the alien, Lobo insists that Max freed him, and nothing will stop him from getting his revenge. Batman appears, saving Waller from an attack, and the three swing out of their way as Lobo destroys the bridge. Superman is preoccupied trying to hold off the mystic powers of the Emerald Eye. Jessica arrives to help him, pushing the eye back with her own energy. Suddenly, it stops firing, recognizing the Green Lantern ring. Jessica's ring then detects temporal energy and, worried about the power of the eye, Simon arrives and crushes it with the construct of a truck. The Emerald Eye cracks, worrying the villain. If it breaks, she'll be trapped in this time period forever. But she must find Saturn Girl first. She disappears, confusing the heroes, but they'll have to worry about that another time. Back in the prison, Boomerang is saved by the Flash, and both men agree not to tell the rogues about any of this. Meanwhile, Rick Flag stumbles on the fight between Rustam and Katana. The soldier tries to talk the assassin down, knowing that it was Rustam that led the first Suicide Squad. However, he just uses the opportunity to strike out. Katana blocks the blow, but Rustam declares that nothing can stop his blade. In fact, she's counting on it. Johnny Sorrow stands before Wonder Woman, taking off his mask. Nobody can survive this attack, but Harley Quinn protects Wonder Woman and looks upon the demonic visage head-on. Cute, but she knows the true face of madness. Wonder Woman nearly sees the face herself, but has an idea. What happens if Johnny instead sees his own image? The villain disappears, and with him, the demons vanish. Wonder Woman is impressed, and Harley is happy to be a team with her once again. Dr. Polaris tears apart the prison, knocking back many members of the team who can't get close. Killer Croc, Aquaman, and El Diablo all falter at the metahuman's insane powers, until only Cyborg is left standing. Polaris finds this funny. A man of metal against him? But Cyborg has had this body for a long time. He knows to plan for magnets. The hero can create his own electromagnetic field, one that can cancel Dr. Polaris' nose. With that, there's only one man left on Max's team, Lobo. Deadshot and Batman keep throwing everything they have at him, but nothing stops the guy. It takes a lot to kill the main man. He begins to choke Amanda, who swears Lobo is under Max's control, but the alien refuses to believe that Lord would do such a thing. Desperate, Batman injects Lobo with a brain bomb, the kind Amanda puts in her Suicide Squad. He's sorry, but it's the only way to stop him. Deadshot only has 2 words at all of this. Damn, Batman. Deep within Belle Rev, Max has finally made it to his goal. Under his orders, Caitlin destroys the vault. The Justice League and Suicide Squad rush to help out, but it's too late. Max finally reveals what he came for. The Heart of Darkness. The Eclipso Diamond. A gem of incredible dark power. It doesn't matter how pure the soul or how strong the will, it corrupts you all the same. It empowers you too. Max won't be able to just control people with suggestion, he'll be able to dominate them with force. He will make them become the worst versions of themselves. And they've already lost. Max only has to say one word. Stop. The Suicide Squad looks on, uncontrolled. But why would he need a group of losers? Right now, he's got the greatest power in the universe. In 2 minutes, the Flash dismantled the world's nuclear arsenal. In 5, the Green Lanterns encased the world in a protective barrier. In 7 minutes, the world's coasts and oceans were secured by Aquaman. And in 9, Wonder Woman had the leaders of the world under her protection. In 10 minutes, Cyborg had taken hold of all modern communication. And now, the White House. 13 minutes. It took Maxwell Lord 13 minutes to take over the world and make it safe. But it's not fun saving the world unless someone is there to appreciate what he has done. Underground, Deadshot, Batman, and Amanda Waller have survived, but the Belle Rev Penitentiary has been badly damaged. They are trapped under some rubble with no idea what just happened. It's possible the Justice League stopped Max and the Heart of Darkness was contained. Suddenly, the group hears some rumbling, but Batman knows that sound. It's Superman. He's relieved, at first, but quickly sees something is terribly wrong. Kal-El declares that Max requests the presence of Amanda. Batman pulls out his kryptonite ring, but Superman isn't playing games. Bruce spent his entire life protecting one city, and he failed. The corrupted Superman grabs Amanda Waller and flies away. As Deadshot and Batman recover, with the mercenary remarking just how screwed they are, Lobo suddenly gets up, having regrown his head. He has to admit, he really likes Batman's style, blowing him up like that, but he has a new focus and a new concern. Maxwell Lord got in his head. He warned him, he told him that's not cool. He's gonna have to get his revenge. He easily digs the 3 out from the earth, where they are greeted by Rick Flag and Katana. They inform the group that Polaris and Rustam escaped, while the rest of the squad is a little busy. Cyborg was left behind, ordered to finish off the Suicide Squad. However, his cybernetic side is actively fighting the effects of the Eclipso Diamond. He doesn't have much time before it fully takes control, but warns Batman that the diamond is sentient and is toying with Max. He didn't bother to take control of the squad or Batman because he knew they didn't stand a chance against him. And the Dark Knight knows that Max is right. At the White House, Maxwell Lord gloats at Amanda. She warns him that the diamond is dangerous, but Max insists he took all necessary precautions. He found a priest on Diablo Island to give him a sacred sigil to protect himself against the diamond. Amanda says that won't work, explaining that the diamond has been behind some of history's worst moments. The Black Plague, Salem, the Inquisition, even as far back as the ancient massacre of Thessalonica. A strange voice responds to Amanda, saying it remembers that last one. The screams were like music. Waller is alarmed at those words, but Max doesn't even seem to have noticed what has just happened. He insists he's fine, and that he made the world a better place. I mean, just look at it. Back at what is left of Belle Rev, Rick Flag and Katana agree to keep Cyborg secure here while Batman goes to confront Max. Killer Frost wants to come too, but Batman is wary of that idea. Caitlin insists he has no other choice. The world is coming to an end, and he has to put a little faith in them. Besides, he literally has nothing to lose. Batman says they will have to separate Max from the Eclipso Diamond, but that means they're going to have to go through the Justice League first. Killer Croc calls dibs on Aquaman. The odds are against them. This next fight will be different from the one earlier. The League won't be holding back this time. They will not hesitate to kill. Batman says the team might not all come back from this. And Deadshot replies that's just another day for Task Force X. Batman replies that he's wrong. This is different. They're not going as the Suicide Squad. Not today. He welcomes his new allies to the Justice League. In Washington, Waller slaps Max in the face. He's lost his mind. He's out of control. The diamond is making him see things. Alarmed, Max looks out the window, really seeing what he has done for the first time. He realizes everything has gone wrong, but it's too late. He collapses to the ground and begins to vomit. Outside, the Justice League arrives and attacks the corrupted team. The team makes headway, but they're alarmed when the sun is suddenly blotted out. It's been too long since he felt the darkness of night on his skin. This world belongs to Eclipso. He will corrupt it and destroy everything. Using Maxwell Lord's powers, Eclipso is able to expand the man's telepathy across the world. The planet falls into chaos as people begin fighting in the streets. In DC, the Justice League does battle with the corrupted heroes. And Eclipso loves it all. He takes pleasure in the pain and suffering, and basks in the glow of chaos. Deadshot moves in, attacking Eclipso, but the villain grabs him, rips off his mask, and takes a look at what's inside. He sees the assassin's daughter, and makes him realize that she's the only thing that holds him back. Without her, Lawton could kill without remorse. Eclipso declares this is an excellent plan, and drops him. Deadshot gets up, corrupted, and vows he will kill everyone. This is fun. Eclipso looks for his next victim. He grabs Amanda Waller, saying he just adores her. She takes every worst thought she can imagine and puts them to good use. Nearby, Batman is saved from Wonder Woman by Killer Frost. The eclipse would seem to suggest that the villain is weak to sunlight, and there's a walking, talking beacon of it right here. Batman asks if Caitlin can create a prism to control Superman's energy, and she believes she can, but it will drain her of her remaining power. Without absorbing more life force, she'll be tapped and exposed. They have another problem too, as most of the squad has now been corrupted. Batman, Frost, and Lobo are the last three standing, and the alien agrees to hold everyone off while they get the plan going. Caitlin creates the prism while Batman taunts Superman into attacking. He says that no matter what Kal-El does, he'll never be human. He knows it, Superman knows it, and so does his son. The light hits the prism, engulfing the corrupted heroes while Eclipso bursts into flames, but Caitlin is drained and cannot sustain things much longer. Batman rushes to her and asks that the young woman use his life energy. It will kill him, but they have no choice. Suddenly, the Justice League and Suicide Squad surround them. The sunlight has freed the teams from Eclipso, and they offer their energy. Taking a little bit from each of them, Killer Frost regains her power when Eclipso strikes out, knocking out most of the heroes. The powerful villain attempts to corrupt Caitlyn, but she is able to resist him, and with Superman, they finally wipe Eclipso out. The day returns, and peace is restored throughout the world. As the dust settles, Caitlyn finds she is one of the last heroes still conscious. She thinks she might be dying, so Amanda Waller has a final order. Kill Maxwell Lord. Absorb his life force, so Killer Frost might live, and this dangerous man can finally be put down. She moves to do so, but after a moment's thought, declines. Instead, she tells Amanda Waller she quits before collapsing. Later, the teams recover. Everyone's survived, and Caitlyn is feeling much better. She remarks that when Eclipso tried to control her, he wasn't able to find any fear to corrupt and draw out of her. In that moment, she didn't care if she lived or died. All she wanted to do was stop Eclipso. Maybe she belongs in the Suicide Squad after all. Superman says that what she did today wasn't suicide. It was sacrifice. Meanwhile, Batman and Waller talk. The Dark Knight has some conditions for all of this. He wants Caitlyn freed. She just put her life on the line and single-handedly saved the world. Call it time off for good behavior. Waller assumes that Batman just wants Frost for himself, and he says whether she agrees to work with him or not will be her choice. Amanda insists she's a killer and can't be trusted. Batman replies that she has the potential to be a real hero. He does believe that some villains can redeem themselves, and is that not the point of Task Force X? Begrudgingly, Batman admits he's starting to see the point of the Suicide Squad, and says there might actually be room in this world for both of their teams. Amanda is amazed. Batman confessing he was wrong. For that it's worth it. He can have Killer Frost. Sooner or later, Batman will realize the best place for the villain is with Amanda anyways. Later, as Lobo prepares to leave the planet, he is greeted by Batman. The main man admits that the Dark Knight did free him from Max's control, and that he owes the Vigilante a favor. Batman cashes that favor in immediately, saying he wants Lobo to join the Justice League. He's going to be on a new kind of team that Batman is putting together, a different one. Lobo says he isn't much of a team player, but the main man does keep his word. Max has been thinking about how he got here, how this all came together. Every part of his plan fell into place perfectly, right up until he found the Justice League and Suicide Squad working with each other to fight him. That was the first warning sign, and he now realizes this whole thing was a setup. Amanda Waller knew the Justice League would eventually come for her, so she steered Max into seizing the Eclipso Diamond and creating a common enemy for the two teams to fight. It all kind of worked perfectly. Checkmate now belongs to Waller, the Justice League knows about the Suicide Squad and has accepted it, and Maxwell Lord now belongs to her, safely drugged with blood thinners. If he uses his powers even once, he'll bleed to death before he gets to the door. Max points out that this plan had an awful lot of risk. It was dangerous, even reckless. Countless people have died all over the world, and there are still plenty of loose ends. The Emerald Empress is free, desperately searching for someone called Saturn Girl. Johnny Sorrow is gone, but someone's going to put on that mask sooner or later. Polaris is free, unstable, and dangerous, and Rustam will never stop hunting Amanda Waller. One way or another, the assassin will find a way to hurt her. And Eclipso may be gone, for now, but that diamond will turn up eventually. Max only has one question. She clearly has a plan for him, otherwise he would have been dead a long time ago. Amanda says Max is an unexpected bonus to come of all of this. But he will not be wasted, not on Task Force X, but he'd be perfect for Task Force 11. Hello and welcome to Comic Island. My name is Arden, and this is the complete story of Justice League vs. Suicide Squad. So, as the first event in Rebirth, this was a solid start for DC. Josh Williamson did a great job writing things, focusing on a few characters, but still giving the giant cast of people involved in this all a lot of things to do. This story moves quickly, but it isn't terribly complicated. It worked well doing what it's set out to do, and there's strong merit to that. I like how tough and smart Amanda Waller was, to the extent that might have gone a bit overboard, But it all came together nicely and showed how the Justice League was basically manipulated into accepting the Suicide Squad as part of this world. That's a very Waller thing to happen, knowing her character and how she's typically treated in the DC world, so it kinda works for me. Maxwell Lord was also super entertaining, which I usually don't find to be the case with this villain in other stories, while Killer Frost did a great and cool part to play in all of this. Coupled with some lovely moments of Batman, Lobo, Harley Quinn, and even Superman, I really like this story and would recommend you check this one out for yourself. Compared to the equivalent story in the same timescale of the New 52, which would be Trinity War, Justice League vs. Suicide Squad has proven to be a fun and worthy addition to their canon, and in my opinion is a strong indicator that Rebirth won't fall for the same trap as the New 52. It's a great sign for things to come, and this is the first real obstacle that Rebirth tackles in a way that you'd think it was effortless doing so. But it wasn't effortless. A lot of work and thought was put into this thing, and I can appreciate that. I like how the Killer Frost stuff is kind of nicely set up and paid off here. She has a real arc in this story, and it's kind of neat having this focus on her. That writing, that sense of setup and payoff, that's a sign of very competent work there, and I really think it was a well-structured and built event in terms of how the story was executed. I admit it's not perfect, it feels like just constant action, there isn't like this sense of a big climax until the very last issue, but you know, it worked for me. It made for an entertaining piece, and I don't think this comic can really be criticized for being too exciting or action-heavy. That's sort of what you should expect out of something like this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Thanks for watching this video. If you like Comic Island, check out our Patreon page. Donors get cool perks and have a say in the videos we make. Finally, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep reading comics.